We're going live on UFC Fight Pass tonight for A1 Combat 29 headline by a middleweight title fight when champion Nick Maximov looks for his second consecutive title defense against the very dangerous Renato Valenci. But first, the amateur stars of tomorrow look to raise their stock as they build towards making their professional debut. This is the A1 Combat 29 prelims. Johnny LaQuasto here with Corey McKenna, but right now we're going to the voice of A1 Combat, the great Garrett Fertig.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first fighter to the cage, George Aldaco.
Well, Corey, it's going to be a very busy evening for all of us here. We have 6 fights on the pro card, but right now we're kicking off with the first of our 7 fights on the prelims.
Yeah, an absolutely stacked night, Johnny, as we talked about. You know, we've got a really big card for the main event, but a full night for the amateurs. And as we talk about with every A1 show where we do this, it's so great to see the grassroots having a platform to perform on, you know, right under the card of the professionals and getting that full professional feel and experience here tonight.
And right now we're looking at one of the many talented fighters we'll see on the prelims. George Aldaco coming in tonight, undefeated at 2-0. And he's been waiting to get back in the cage since September of last year as he underwent umbilical hernia surgery in December. And he admitted he went back to training way too soon. He said, look, I got very impatient. And as a physical therapist, I know full well a hernia you have to be very, very careful with. He went back to training. He re-injured himself. But now finally, 8 months post-surgery, he feels like he's at his peak condition, and he's very excited for tonight.
Yeah, I can imagine so. A lot of these fighters do tend to rush back in there, but that just goes to show how much they love what they do. Yeah. And I'm sure as a physical therapist, you're going to be cringing a lot tonight, Johnny. But definitely excited to see the return of George Aldaco as he comes in here with 1 TKO finish and 1 decision. You know, he's been working over Ultimate Fitness / Team Alpha Male with the likes of Tony, who's in his corner, one of the Muay Thai coaches over there. And I'm sure he's been making gains whilst also recovering in this period away.
No question. He actually said it was a little bit of a blessing in disguise. It gave him an opportunity to really tighten up his skills and get ready for the opportunity tonight as we go back to Garrett Fertig for his opponent.
Set to make the walk, Taufeequllah Alpalfan Omari.
A very talented striker and grappler from Afghanistan, Taufeequllah Omari, coming in tonight 0-1, made his amateur debut a few months back, but now looking to rebound. Obviously, speaking with him today, I can tell he feels a lot of pressure right now. He told me flat out, he's got a whole crew with him. He said, look, I have to make my family proud. He said, I promised my father, my siblings, and my coach that someday I'm going to be a champion, but he realizes there is a long road ahead of him. He needs to start tonight with his first win as an amateur.
Yeah, I actually called Omari's last fight against Jafar Van Luke. Yeah, strange evening. Yeah. A lot of emotions, tensions running high. It's nice to see Omari getting a second chance here in the A1 cage. Hopefully he can channel a lot of that aggression into the fight this time. But yeah, excited to see if he can come in and get that first win against Aldaco tonight.
Certainly was a little bit of chaos, as you mentioned, with his amateur debut, but nonetheless, he has developed a massive following on TikTok. He has a very strong following on social media, a lot of fans back home in Afghanistan, and, you know, he feels like he is a very well-rounded fighter. You know, he's not a very talkative person, but he told me, I'm a striker, I'm a wrestler, I want to show everyone what I can do. He clearly, he's not happy with how his amateur debut went, and he knows this is a huge spotlight for him. And I guarantee his entire crew, they're going to be watching very intently. I can see 2 or 3 of them already filming this as Taufeequllah Omari enters the cage as we kick off the prelims for A129 in this featherweight bout. This will be 3 2-minute rounds, as both fighters have less than 3 fights in their career thus far, as we go back to Garrett Fertig for the introductions.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to A129 Valenci versus Maximov. We open the prelim card, streaming live on YouTube, and stream with 3 2-minute rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing first the blue corner at 5'7", weighing 144.5 pounds, 2-0 as an amateur, training at Uriah Faber's Ultimate Fitness from Sacramento, California, George Aldaco. And now introduces his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the Punch Edibles red corner. Also standing 5'7", weighing 146 pounds, 0-1 early in his amateur career, a member of Legends Boxing from Sacramento, California, Tafugula, Hapavan Omari. Referee Marcel Brown.
We're all set to kick off the prelims for A129. George Aldaco in the green. Tofukala Omari in the black. The first of 7 fights on the prelims. 6 fights on the pro card, all headlined tonight.
All right, guys, round 1. Fedayou, are you ready? Fedayou, are you
middleweight
ready?
title clash. Nick Maximov looking to defend for the 2nd consecutive time over Renato Valenci as we are underway. 3 2-minute rounds.
Aldaco wasting no time, coming out, maintaining the center, looking to push Omari back against the cage. Not too much thrown yet. As we touched on, these are only 2-minute rounds, so definitely going to have to be active for all 3 of those rounds for these guys.
Aldaco told me earlier today he feels like that Omari doesn't have a tight enough arsenal. As you can see, he really has that wide swing when he goes in with the right hand, and Aldaco feels like he can take advantage of that.
Yeah, I could see that. Omari definitely has a very aggressive style. I think everything about the way he carries himself, is very aggressive, very forward pushing. So smart of Aldaco here, kind of pacing himself, looking for the right timing, but he's biting heavy on those strikes of Omari, and that's going to leave him open to getting caught potentially with one of those as we see him slip on that backup just there.
Certainly a feeling out process here early on, but Corey, with 2-minute rounds, you don't have a lot of time to waste.
Yeah, and for those that aren't familiar, we touch on it pretty much every time we have the amateurs on this card. With the Camo California Commission, we do 3 2-minute rounds for anybody under 3 fights, and that's also why you'll see some of our athletes wearing shin guards here tonight for the same reason. Just as they're building their careers, we slowly increase those rounds and sharpen those weapons.
Nice sprawl there, but Aldaco follows through with the takedown.
Yeah, beautiful single leg from Aldaco there. Not too active of a round as we have 15 seconds left, so you got to think that, hopefully that'll put the stamp on the round for him and get him moving on this round. But he's got to be a bit more active here, Doing the takedown's one thing, but you got to use it.
Well, he's going to finish this round in side control, but Corey, intelligent decision there by Aldaco. Obviously the first 90, 100 seconds of that round, not a lot of action, but by shooting in there at the end, getting that takedown, like you said, if you're in the eyes of the judges, there's no signs of damage, maybe a few effective strikes tops, that takedown could pay dividends as far as the judges.
Yes, certainly. I think we're going to see a replay right here as Aldaco, beautiful timing on that single leg. He's on his knees, he starts to build up to his feet to enable himself to finish this. And he gets Omari down to the ground. You got to think, like I said, with the last 30 seconds to go, it's going to be one of the last things the judges saw in this round and potentially put the stamp on it. But like I say, the aggressive style of Omari, pushing back, throwing heavy bombs may also have impressed the judges. So yeah, tight first round with the feeling out, and you got to think both these guys are going to be coming out hungry in the next 2.
There's no doubt that Omari throws heavy hands, and both of these men have knockout powers. We're about ready for the 2nd round. This featherweight bout.
Mouthpiece.
Thanks for joining us live on the A1 Combat.
All right, guys, round 2. Fight.
Tonight, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, live on UFC Fight Pass for A1 Combat 29. Ooh, nice jab. Finds a home for Omari.
Yeah, Omari pushing forward this time. I'm sure the coaches told him he needs to start being a little bit more aggressive. Heavy overhand lands, and he's able to spoil the takedown attempt of Aldaco.
And now we're starting to see a bit of a ground attack here by Omari. Oh, wait a minute! The kick finds a home, and now into the ground and pound is Tofukala Omari. Can Aldaco find a way out of this? Only 30 seconds into the second round, a cluster of right hands.
Brutal ground and pound from Omari as Aldaco frantically tries to create some separation. He just can't seem to get his footing back underneath him.
Omari was ragdolling Aldaco there for a second. What a start to this second round. Thus far, Aldaco has been able to survive.
Yeah, we talked about coming out hungry, and Omari certainly obliged. Pure aggression as we still have a minute left in this round. We're just hitting the halfway point of round 2. That looked like a knee.
Oh, wait a minute. And that'll do it. Tofukala Omari with a stoppage in the second round. He told me this morning how much pressure he was putting on himself to perform for his family and for his country and for everyone that follows him on social media. And Corey, I don't think he could have asked for a better way to finish that fight, for a better performance overall. Very patient in the first round, and in the second round, the onslaught began.
Yes, certainly. You know, he did a great job turning it around, coming out here, and we're about to see this finish right here.
It all started with a left jab, and he followed up with a right hand, and then he just pounced on Aldaco, who unfortunately for him was never able to really recover and create any kind of distance. The knee landed there too.
Which is illegal.
Perhaps the official...
Perhaps missed by the referee, but beautiful job from Omari to turn that around.
Well, look, you have to call it as you see it. You're the analyst, you're the fighter, and explain to us the knee that you saw.
Yeah, I mean, from our vantage point, it looked like it landed. Perhaps it hit the chest, which would be legal. I'm not in there, I can't see it close. I was,
so
you know, we are behind them, so I didn't quite see where it landed, but amateur is illegal to be landing knees to the head, so, but I'm sure.
To you, it looked like it hit more of the chin.
Perhaps, yeah. But as we mentioned, we have some very experienced referees in there, and I'm sure that he would not have missed that one. So presumably landed to the chest, and then, yeah, heavy ground and pound to finish there for Omari.
It all landed very quickly. It certainly was a fast attack there by Omari. As he's going to have his hand raised, let's go back to Garrett Fertig for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Marcel Brown steps in and waves off the contest. Official time, 1 minute, 6 seconds of round number 2. Declaring your winner by TKO, Tafigula Hapalva Omari.
An exciting way to kick off the A1 Combat 29 prelims as Tofukala Omari scores his first victory as an amateur. What a moment that is for him. What a moment that is for his coach and his family.
Yeah, beautiful moment as him and his family celebrate in the cage, looking to secure that first amateur win.
Let's go back to check out the highlights of that second round. And, you know, really it was within the first 10 to 15 seconds. And there's one knee, and then he went into the ground and pound, and that was essentially the beginning of the end.
Yeah, definitely. Like we said, we talked about coming out hungry, and Omari wasted absolute no time looking to seal the deal here in the second round.
So that's the knee that you were speaking of, I believe.
No comment.
We will move on. Nonetheless, Omari with the victory. Let's go back to Garrett Fertig.
Returning to A1 Combat, please welcome Matt Marlin.
Matt Marlin walks to the cage tonight at 3-1 with a perfect finish rate. The most recent being a second-round knockout just over 2 months ago. And since his last fight, he's been training at MMA Gold. He feels like he is a completely different fighter overall. He's obviously no stranger to the A1 cage. He fought at A120, A125, 1-1 overall in A1 competition. But 3-1 overall with 2 knockouts and 1 submission. Matthew Marlin is a very, very dangerous fighter.
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, 100% finish rate coming in here tonight. We just had an absolutely brutal TKO win by Omari in our last fight. And looking down the card here, Johnny, I think we're in for many more of those. There's
a very good chance we're going to have some fun finishes here on the prelims. Matt Marlin also keeps the city safe as part of the Sacramento City Fire Department, I should say. wants to make sure I shout out all his brothers at Station 2.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, coming out here with a 100% finish rate from Matthew Marlin, but he has a tough opposition ahead of him tonight in Isaac Martinez, who also has 2 wins, 2 by knockout. So 100% finish rate on both sides here tonight as we welcome in his opponent.
We're in for an explosive one. Back to Fertig.
Now making his way, Isaac Martinez.
Well, fighting runs in the family for certain individuals. Enter Isaac Martinez. Growing up between Oahu and Northern California, he's been training for most of his life, walking to the A1 cage tonight at 3-1 with all 3 victories coming via first-round knockout. But it's been a 10-month wait for Martinez following surgery in his right shoulder labrum, which is a very annoying surgery to recover from. With the labrum, you just have to let it heal, and it takes a long time, a lot of physical therapy, but he feels fantastic now. He has a very strong mindset. On top of that, his cousin, Anthony Figueroa, fighting tonight on the pro card in lightweight.
Yeah, like mentioned, really excited for this one. We have 2 finishers, and this guy, he has not seen a second round. Win or loss, he has not left that first round, and I'm sure he's going to go out there tonight and he's going to give it his all and leave it all in there.
And both fighters here have great ground games as well. You have Marlin, a purple belt in jiu-jitsu at Granite Bay, and Martinez coming in as a blue belt. So obviously both great strikers. Martinez 3 knockouts, Marlin 2 knockouts, but it'll be interesting to see what the game plan is for both of these fighters because they're both very evenly matched.
Yeah, definitely, and both coming from solid camps, so I'm sure they're fundamentally sound in all areas of their game. So perhaps we're gonna see them kind of cancel each other out a little bit and have a little bit of grappling here tonight too.
And this will be 3-minute rounds because both fighters have over 3 fights in their career thus far. 175-pound catchweight bout. Back to Garrett Fertig for the introductions.
Tonight's show is produced by Tom Anderson Presents as we head to a 175-pound contract weight bout set for 3 3-minute rounds. We introduce to you first the blue corner. At 6 feet tall, weighing in 174 pounds, he brings a 3-1 amateur record into the A1 combat cage with 2 stoppage victories and 1 submission. Fighting out of Granite Bay Jiu-Jitsu and MMA Gold from Sacramento, California. Please welcome Ahmed Marlin. Now he introduces his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. Also standing 6 feet tall, weighing 175 pounds, holding a record of 3 wins, 1 loss, a proud member of Lifestyle Training Center from San Jose, California, Isaac Martinez. Referee Brian Tyler.
Tim, you good? Yep.
Ryan Tyler with the assignment for the second bout of the A129 prelims. We're all set for 3 3-minute rounds.
All right, gentlemen, round 1. Fighter, you ready? Fighter, you ready? Let's fight.
Underway, Matthew Marlin, bit of a height advantage, reach advantage as well. Body kick immediately by Martinez, and he pounces in. But Marlin, great job getting back to his feet with the body lock.
Yeah, heavy blows from Martinez to open out this first round. Marlin attempting the takedown shot, almost misses it as he falls to his backside, but able to work back up to his feet and get in on this double leg against the cage. And that's what we mentioned, 2 heavy hitters here in the amateur ranks. So not surprised to see a little bit of wrestling as we come out here.
Marlin certainly feels like he's the dominant grappler between the two, and certainly looking to implement that skill set. Great job there by Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez able to not only defend the takedown, but reverse it and shuck off to the back. Landing shots here now in this body lock position.
And as you mentioned, Corey, Martinez, all 3 knockouts have been in the first round.
Yeah, definitely. And we saw that by the way he, approached just coming out from his corner. He rushed straight into the center. He held it. He landed a heavy kick and just started firing immediately off that. He was wasting absolutely no time as he looks to return to the cage tonight.
Right, but someone like Marlin, he's experienced enough to be able to withstand that, and especially with the grappling skills he does have. And
yeah, definitely. And as we mentioned, Marlin also with finishing capabilities of his own. So both of these guys extremely tough and durable as they come out here tonight. And, you know, as mentioned in the comments, Jake Carver, unfortunately, was supposed to be in there tonight, did get injured, so Marlin stepping in to take on the task of Martinez tonight.
Credit to Marlin taking this fight on short notice. Marlin is always looking to stay active, so he was more than willing. But Jake Carver will be back soon, and boy, is he exciting to watch. And that's one of the most fun things about the A1 prelims. You see so many stars of tomorrow as Martinez lands another shot, and Marlin's already busted open there.
I really love the display of full mixed martial arts from Martinez here. We've seen some clinch work. He's mixing his kicks in with his punches. You know, he's using that to set up this body lock position where he's also landing strikes. He's not kind of sticking on one thing. You know, he's really putting his full game together. 30 seconds left, and looks like Marlin might be taking Martinez to his first ever round 2.
And thus far, Martinez has essentially been in control for the majority of this first round. No doubt the aggressor between the two as well.
Yeah, definitely. As we mentioned, you know, he hasn't fought since last May. Oh, no, sorry, he was fighting last May.
Possible low blow there.
Isaac, right over here for me. Right here, Matt.
Unfortunate.
Well, closing moments of the first round, I think we're only at about 5 or 6 seconds left. Marlin will get a few minutes to recover.
Knee to the face.
Could have been a knee that landed there. Difficult to see what it was. Let's see if we can get a look.
No, he doesn't on this one.
Ooh.
Knee to the head.
Yeah. Well, you see Marlin holding on to the right rib cage.
Yeah.
I mean, the intercostal muscles are there. They're very sensitive if injured. Obviously, the ribs, impossible to know if the ribs themselves could be injured as well. But Matt Marlin is struggling just to stand, which tells me there's definitely some kind of muscle spasm happening with the intercostals if he's having a difficult time extending his body and standing upright.
Yeah, so just to clarify,
and that'll do it.
My understanding is that it was stopped due to the knee to the head, but potentially during that flurry, ribs were injured. Is that what we're saying?
We're about to find out.
Second call of the night, early stoppage, and as we mentioned, Martinez not having to see a second round thus far in his career.
No, only about 5 seconds left in that first round, and unfortunately this fight will end due to stoppage, and difficult to know where the injury came from in the rib cage, but clearly it's not. Marlin's not affected by the knee. He's having a very difficult time getting his oxygen, which could be a crack of the ribs. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get another replay after we get our decision. Very strange turn of events.
Yeah. Nonetheless, it looks like Isaac Martinez will be moving on to 4-1. Yeah, Matt Marlin is really struggling there on the right side.
Yeah, no doubt in what's causing discomfort. Definitely holding those ribs.
And impossible to know, but guaranteed there's definitely a muscle spasm happening there with the intercostals. And let's see if we can check out the shot that may have caused the end here.
Boom.
And there was a knee to the right side of the rib cage there, and apparently that was enough.
So in that case, Marlin should not have been getting the time to rest.
Right.
But presumably stopped for the accidental knee to the head. Unsure as to whether that's going to be the call tonight. I'm going to assume TKO, given that Marlin could not continue due to the rib shot that happened prior.
Correct. Well, perfectly landed knee to the rib cage by Isaac Martinez, and that's going to continue his very promising amateur career as we go to Garrett Fertig for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Brian Tyler stepped in to wave off this contest at 2 minutes 53 seconds, declaring this bout a no contest due to an illegal knee to the head
by
Isaac Martinez.
Ooh.
That is the official announcement, and
even Marlin disagreeing with that. He stopped for the knee to the ribs, so
very difficult situation here.
Interesting decision. Can't argue it. I mean, that's not my job. I don't fully understand the handbook, the rules. Is unfortunate due to the fact that the injury to the ribs is what caused the, you know, the end of that match.
It also, you know, Marlin was essentially, he was doubled over to a certain extent after the shot to the ribs. As we go back to check out some of the action here. Corey, it's not often that you're as perplexed as you are right now.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we saw a knee to the head in the first match that got missed, and now we're seeing a disqualification in the second one when the rib injury is what prevented the athlete from continuing. I mean, you know, normally I'm either fighting or commentating, so it's not really my job to question anything, but I definitely think that wasn't what I expected.
Well, you see the response by Matt Marlin here. He's incredibly surprised, but nonetheless, we have to move on to the third fight of the prelims. Let's go back to Garrett Vertig.
On his way to the cage, Jacob Pedigo.
It's now time for bantamweight action, as Jacob the Rocket Pedigo from Team Alpha Male makes his way to the cage. Victorious back at A125 after having a year-long layoff. He took some time to catch up with life financially and personally, but he never stopped training. And he said it was very difficult to be away for that long. But he realized, look, I'm still young. I'm still only 23 years old. I'm more focused now. I'm more centered now than I've ever been. He's a very talented young man coming in tonight overall at 2-3.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Jacob Pedigo, the last time we saw him out, he had a very impressive TKO win. That was back in November, as you mentioned. And this is one of those kids, you know, he's always working hard. If he can't be in the gym, he's finding another way to get his work in. And I didn't see him too much this camp, but he's been in the gym grinding. I know that his weight cut went smoother than I think it's ever gone before, and he's been telling me he feels great, you know. So I'm really excited for him to come in there tonight and see if he can continue that hot streak with those TKOs. But he has a tough opponent against him tonight.
I can confirm the weight cut was perfect for him. He had an energy about him at weigh-ins. He's got such a bright personality and a mindset. First degree black belt in karate, and he said, look, number one, I want to be entertaining, but I also need to prove that I'm the best fighter I've ever been. And he's got a really, really strong mentality as he enters the cage tonight for battle as we await his opponent.
And now, Ethan Robledo.
Another talented young fighter. The Rocket is the senior of the two fighters, as Ethan Robledo, only 20 years young, coming in undefeated at 3-0 with 2 knockouts, both being first-round finishes. Also a unanimous decision in his other fight. And he essentially started training even before he graduated high school. He said, look, the ground game, that's my go-to, but I'm also a great striker, as proven by 2 first-round finishes thus far. Ethan Robledo really likes to dictate the pace in his fights thus far early in his amateur career, training at Andogs MMA.
Yeah, definitely coming in here 3-0. You know, we just saw one of Andogs guys coming out and putting on a strong performance. So both of these guys coming out of very reputable teams. You know, and also coming in with 2 first-round TKOs. So both of these guys, young, hungry, and coming in here with plenty of finishing capabilities. So I'm really excited to see what these guys can come out here and do tonight.
Credit to Aaron Rand. He puts together incredible prelim cards. And, you know, you can see the progression when fighters move to the pro ranks and they end up fighting for A1 Combat on Fight Pass. You could just see the growth in so many of these fighters. And case in point, Robledo coming in only 20 years old, Pedigo only 23. As we are ready for action, let's go back to Garrett Vertig.
We continue the prelim action here at A129 with 3 3-minute rounds in the bantamweight division, brought to you by Rose Remodeling. We now introduce first the Punch Edibles blue corner, standing 5'5", weighing in at 134 3/4 pounds. Coming off a second-round stoppage victory, his record stands at 2 wins, 3 losses. Backed by Team Alpha Male from Bowling Green, Kentucky, he fights out of Sacramento, California. Jacob Rocket Pedigo. Now introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the Punch Edibles red corner. At 5'7", stepping in at 134.5 pounds, this undefeated amateur holds a record of 3-0 with 2 of his 3 wins ending in the first round. Training at Ant Dogs MMA and fighting out of Gilroy, California, Ethan Robledo. Your referee, Chad Shepard.
Well, Corey, this is only the 3rd fight of the night, and I already think it's safe to say we couldn't have any more interesting finish than we have in the first 2 fights, as this one has blockbuster written all over it between Robledo and Pedigo.
Fighters, ready?
Yes, certainly. I'm not sure many of our fights here tonight are going to go to distance, especially in these prelims. You know, we have some very exciting matches done by the matchmaking team over A1.
Pedigo certainly controlling center here in the opening moments.
Yeah.
3 3-minute rounds here.
Pedigo immediately coming out, pushing Robledo back, heavy blows, but Robledo answering with some of his own.
It was a beautiful switching of the stance and then going in with the jab and the 1-2.
Yeah, both of these guys extremely quick in there. You know, we have these bantamweights, but very, very fast on both sides. Takedown attempt potentially from Robledo, stuffed by Pedigo with the underhook, landing a beautiful knee to the body and mitigating that attack of Robledo.
A couple of powerful strikers here, now up against the cage. And Robledo told us this morning, he said, I like to be the aggressor in my fights. I want to force my will on my opponents. And we've definitely seen it, but Jacob Pedigo is very disciplined. And now, beautiful exchange there. Oh, a head kick by Pedigo, but a follow-up jab by Robledo.
Yeah, that karate style of Pedigo is starting to come out a little bit here now. Definitely a lot of aggression on both of these sides. One of those shots lands, it could be lights out for either of these guys here.
Question. Oh, single leg by Robledo. Great job by Pedigo to thwart. Halfway through the first round, and down goes Pedigo.
Takedown secured by Robledo, and we're at halfway point for this round, so you got to think that this has got to really turn, you know, the tides with the judges here, and potentially a lot of time to work for Robledo.
This first round has certainly not disappointed. Oh, Pedigo able to get the back rather easily there. 1 hook in.
Yeah.
Oh, just like that. Pedigo could be in trouble here. Great job to evade.
Yeah, Robledo's doing a great job immediately hunting that neck, threatening the choke on Pedigo. Able to get it under the chin, but Pedigo staying calm and collected, able to fight the hands. 45 seconds left to work here, and Robledo definitely in a much stronger position as we look to close out this round. Landing blows, looking to open up the choke with his hands. Very smart from Robledo.
He's being absolutely relentless here as Pedigo desperately trying to keep that neck from being attacked. Uh-oh. Now he's got both hooks in. Can Pedigo survive the final 20 seconds?
Body triangle from Robledo, and this is really difficult from Pedigo because he is now away from the cage, so he's not able to use that cage, you know, as an extra tool to scrape Robledo off of his back or look to work up to his feet. He's now out in the open. He's got to defend these punches, defend the chokes, he's got to attack the legs, and this is just a really suffocating position for Pedigo to be stuck in as we see out this round.
Certainly is, but great job by Pedigo to survive that first round. But that was as exciting as we could have anticipated between these two very promising fighters. But Robledo, we saw a little bit of his entire arsenal there. The head kicks leading into the combinations, and then, of course, the grappling in the final 90 seconds.
Yeah, certainly, and that's definitely a smart game plan from the Robledo side. You know, he's having success with his striking, but both of these guys, as we mentioned, have great finishing capabilities on the feet. They're landing some heavy blows on either side. So for Robledo, he was able to implement that grappling and really just kind of put his stamp on, hey, I'm good wherever this fight goes. You know, and that was a beautiful shot from Robledo. Pedigo did stuff a couple of his takedown attempts, but he's going to have to completely mitigate that going into this second round or have a better answer off of this back.
There we see the beautiful head kick by Pedigo, but the second half of the first round was really all Robledo on the back of Pedigo. As we're just about ready for the second round.
And since we have questions coming up in the comment section of YouTube, we did explain this in the first fight, I apologize. These are 3 3-minute rounds because both of these guys have more than 3 fights experience, just like our last fight was also 3-minute rounds. The first was 2 due to the lack of experience of both of the guys. So due to the Camos rule sets, the California Commission rule sets, that's how it works. First 3 fights, shin pads in 2-minute rounds, and then you get to increase.
We hear Pedigo's corner telling Pedigo to end with the jab after moving in. Body kick, and Pedigo charges in.
Beautiful forearm block from Pedigo as Robledo tries to get back to that double leg. But Robledo's staying active even when he fails on those takedowns. You know, he's following up with his hands, he's following up with his kicks, he's putting those combinations together. I'm really impressed with both of these guys. That you say very young in their years, but beautiful display of experience here. Single leg attempt from Robledo, able to get the back of Pedigo. Beautiful transitioning, and that's that chain wrestling there that you don't see often at this lower level of amateur MMA.
And then the power in the base of Robledo, just to bull rush Pedigo, getting him back down, and now just such a smooth transition. Like you said, the single leg wasn't completely there, just went to the back, made Pedigo respond, and then charged in once again. And now more of the same with Robledo taking the back of Pedigo.
Yes, certainly, and phenomenal composure from Robledo too. He's taking the time to secure his position before he starts to attack. You know, we talked about how young and hungry and how much energy these guys are coming in here with, but he's really taking the time where it counts, as you see him sinking back here, taking the time to get his second hook in and control his position, back in on that body triangle. And yeah, this is phenomenal grappling from Robledo.
And he's away from the cage.
And he has a minute and a half to work here, Johnny, as opposed to the last minute of the last round.
Pedigo did a great job of defending the rear naked in the first round, but fatigue has to be setting in, and Robledo does not tire out.
Yeah, definitely. This is a very tiring position from Pedigo. That body triangle is brutal. You know, it's going to be restricting the airways. He's away from the cage, so he's not able to use that, as we mentioned, to defend this back position and work up. So he's doing a great job of scooting back to the cage. He's got his guard back underneath him, so he's able to start creating some space to scramble. But Robledo's composure in here is very impressive.
Hard to believe, only 20 years old.
And I will say, it's really nice to see him implementing that ground and pound. He's not necessarily landing heavy finishing blows, but he's doing just enough to keep Pedigo thinking, and it's allowing him to advance his position or potentially sneak in his submissions and other shots. So he's doing a great job of staying active and almost like smothering Pedigo on bottom.
To Pedigo's credit, he's got incredible conditioning as he's able to withstand yet another just smothering grappling arsenal by Robledo as we're about to close out the second round. Just another brilliant ground display by Robledo.
Pedigo definitely able, you know, more able at the end of this round compared to the last 2 advances position, but you got to think he's down too. You know, he was able to get back to his guard, wasn't really able to mount any on offense, and that was over a minute and a half of him just being smothered under Robledo's pressure and ground control. So you got to think that his corner's lighting a fire up under him as we go into this third round here.
If you are Jacob Pedigo, as we see Hector Fajardo cornering him there and giving him some advice, I mean, you kind of have to go for broke here in the third round a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he did a great job of stuffing that first takedown attempt of Robledo, but you know, Robledo, as we mentioned, he did a beautiful job of chain wrestling, and Pedigo was not ready for that second and third attack. So he just has to be aware that Robledo isn't just shooting and then giving up when he misses it. You know, he's chaining that wrestling together, and he's in his corner smiling, laughing, joking with Anthony Figueroa. So definitely coming into this third round fresh, as opposed to the body language of Jacob Pedigo. But yeah, Pedigo needs to just stay aware that Robledo is relentless, and he is able to chain those takedowns together. So stuffing the first doesn't necessarily mean you're safe, and that is where he's getting caught.
And what we see there, that's the personality of Ethan Robledo. He truly has the best time being in the cage. He loves everything about mixed martial arts. Just having a conversation with him today, that's the vibe that you get. And we're seeing that. He's so fluid. He's so incredibly smooth. Third and final round here. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. A1 Combat 29 Prelims going live on Fight Pass at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific.
Pedigo definitely taking a slightly different approach this round. Still aggressive with his strikes, but kind of looking like he's trying to keep the distance from Robledo. Potentially the advice of cornermen Josiah McHale and Hector Fajardo. Big kick and a slip. Very unfortunate. We're talking about him needing to avoid the takedowns of Robledo, and unfortunate slip takes himself down.
The kick landed, didn't have enough of an effect, and Robledo is just lightning quick, immediately taking the back. And much like the first and second round, similar position, Robledo in control time already has the body lock.
Yeah, wasting absolute no time is Robledo, straight into this body triangle position on the back. And, you know, Pedigo does a great job of defending this, but he's going to have to express some serious urgency so we don't just see the clock eaten back up like the last 2 rounds. But yeah, beautiful composure from Robledo. Hand fighting here right now, looking to land those short-range shots, potentially open up that rear naked choke.
And talk about growth. Robledo coming in 3-0, 2 of those being knockouts. But he said, look, I think my ground game is the best part of my arsenal. And we are seeing that in droves tonight, as now continuing the strikes on Pedigo as we approach the final minute of this bantamweight bout.
Yeah, it's kind of a, like I said, a very similar story to what we saw in the first 2 rounds. Robledo just with that composure and that smothering grappling style, able to completely mitigate any offense of Pedigo. You know, like I say, we just broke the minute mark, and Pedigo's doing the right thing. He's fallen to the side of the lock. He's starting to address the feet whilst also hand fighting to defend the choke. But yeah, not really seeing much advancement from Pedigo.
I mean, if you're Pedigo, it's almost difficult to even use your hips at this point because Robledo has such perfect positioning.
Yeah, 30 seconds left to go, and Robledo's starting to look to land some heavier blows here on the back. Pedigo able to get up to his knees, start kicking to clear the hooks, but looks like Robledo's looking for the finish here. He's got 15 seconds left, and I don't think he's ready to just ride that clock out.
Robledo is briefly into the full mount, once again onto the back, and he is going to finish this fight very strongly as Ethan Robledo has put on quite a display for all of us here tonight as we are going to a decision. 2 very talented young fighters. Hard to believe Ethan Robledo, only 20 years young, walking to the cage tonight undefeated, and what a performance that was as we await the scorecards from the judges. Still 4 fights to come on the prelims leading up to the main card.
Yeah, definitely, you know, bright futures ahead for both of these guys. 2 young prospects, almost sad to see them go against each other, you know. Both of them have phenomenal previous performances, and again, this was a phenomenal performance. Pedigo with some amazing striking, but unfortunately did not have an answer for the dominant grappling of Robledo here tonight.
And Pedigo came in with a really solid game plan. Look, he's a great striker, he's a very solid grappler, but Robledo was just so fluid all 3 rounds. And Pedigo, unfortunately for him, he had no answer to the jiu-jitsu, to the grappling of Ethan Robledo. As we go to check out the close of the 3rd round, and you know, Corey, it essentially ended much like the first and the second round did.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Robledo, he saw the blueprint on how to beat Pedigo, and he stuck to it. You know, he did a great job, clearly followed the game plan of his coaches. Absolutely impressed by the composure in there. You know, he could have rushed some of those positions and potentially lost them, and he just chose to take the smart route. He controlled Pedigo in all areas, and yeah, I'm absolutely amazed by his grappling pedigree.
Looks like the decision is in. Let's go to Garrett Fertig for the official announcements.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for the decision. All 3 judges, Marcel Brown, Daniel Mobley, and Giovanni Varela, see it the same. 30-27, all for your winner by unanimous decision, Ethan Robledo.
Ethan Robledo, congratulations. You remain undefeated. You came in tonight 3-0 with 2 first-round knockouts, but you told me this morning, you said, actually, my ground game is the best part of my arsenal. You put on a display, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, that was the plan the whole time. I like to pressure these guys till they quit. Great fighter.
Yeah.
It was just, I was just like to push the pace, and that's what I do to everyone. And I'll keep doing it.
Now, you're only 20 years young, and you're 4-0, and you continue to grow at such a fast rate. What's next?
Fuck, I don't know, dude. I'm gonna go talk to my coach and see what's next, and I'll let you know. I'll post it.
And most importantly, I think a lot of people want to know, what do you do to grow such an impressive mustache?
It's genetics. It's all genetics. No, a little bit of oil on the beard to help that, but the mustache, you got it or you don't.
Well, what a performance tonight, remaining unblemished, moving to 4-0, Ethan Robledo.
And there you have it, Ethan Robledo, still undefeated at 4-0. He's in the cage, you know, posing with his coaches, but absolutely phenomenal. As Johnny mentioned, only 20 years young and such a dominant display. You got to think that it won't be too long before we're seeing him advance into those pro ranks. And talking about those pro ranks, Johnny, we have such a phenomenal card ahead of us.
Oh, yes, we do. In the main event, it's so interesting when you have a co-main event and a main in the same division, because you have a title fight in the main. We have Maximov, we have Valenci, but then we have a former champion in Felipe taking on Patershuk, two absolute firefighters. As we go back to check out the highlights from this tremendous bantamweight clash, Jacob Pedigo and Ethan Robledo. And, you know, Pedigo had a great game plan. He was very aggressive early on, mixed up his, you know, head kicks with his combinations. But then essentially, it was Ethan Robledo in control time for a good portion of every single round.
Yeah, definitely. We talk a lot about fight IQ, and, you know, he showed plenty of it here tonight. Very composed despite his age and experience, and yeah, super bright future ahead for both of these guys, but Robledo able to come out on top here tonight with a dominant performance against Pedigo.
And while on the back, he continued to stay active with the strikes. What a performance. Congratulations to Ethan Robledo, moving to 4-0 here tonight on the prelims as we go back. Oh, actually, Saturday, October 4th, we have so much more action coming up in 2025. A1 Combat 30. This is going to be incredible. Marlin Husinov looks to defend the welterweight title once again, right here live on UFC Fight Pass. Only 6 days later, live from Long Beach, it will be A1 Combat 31, as Bruno Souza will look to defend the Bantamweight Championship. And then Friday, November 7th, A1 Combat 32, right back home here at the Hard Rock in Sacramento. Trust me, we'll tell you all about those events throughout the rest of the night. But right now, we go back to the man in black, Garrett Fertig.
And now, please welcome to the A1 cage, Trejon Bunda.
Well, the A1 Combat prelims are all about fighters with bright futures. Fighters on the rise and fighters who could be stars down the road. Look no further than Trejon Bunda coming in tonight, 5-0. And to say that he has been impressive throughout his career early on has been an understatement. Following his last victory at A1 26, he has been essentially untouchable.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we just saw another undefeated prospect in our last fight, and Trejon Bunda coming out here at 5-0, undefeated again. Looking at, you know, the energy he's carrying as he's walking out here. You know, he's just looking like he's loving life, enjoying the lights and the experience. And, you know, this is another highly touted prospect with 3 TKOs and 1 submission coming out here. You know, we last saw him at A1 26 in February, so staying busy. I'm really excited to see what he's bringing in here tonight. You got to think, again, that this is another person that we're watching ready to advance on to that pro card later.
No doubt. Out of those 5 victories, 4 finishes, 2 of them being in the first round. And he's really had a lot to deal with in his life. Unfortunately, his father passed away. He took over his father's construction business. So he's balancing that along with a fight career that has, he's one of the highlights of the prelims. He's one of the fighters people get excited to see. He was once a standout football player on both sides of the ball, played corner and wideout. He said, you know, I realized I wasn't going to play professional football. I turned to mixed martial arts, and what a great choice it was for him. You have to wonder, like you said, Corey, how long will it be before Trejon Bunda turns professional? But he's a very disciplined individual. He wants another standout performance tonight before he thinks about taking that next step as we go back to Garrett Fertig.
Please welcome his opponent, Ahmed.
After falling short in his amateur debut last year, 2025 has been a firestorm of success for Aravello Ahmed. He walks tonight on a 3-fight win streak with 3 first-round finishes, all within the first 90 seconds of the first round. And Corey, he said his mindset completely changed after his amateur debut last year. He said, I'm enjoying everything now. He said, all my nerves are gone. Much like Robledo said, because I'm excited to get in the cage. It keeps me loose. It keeps me reactive. And man, what a year it's been for Ahmed so far.
Yeah, talk about turning things around, Johnny. I mean, for going from losing in the first round to getting 3 first-round finishes, sorry. Like you said, 2 submissions and a TKO. So definitely a mindset shift for Aravello Ahmed as he comes in here tonight. And he has another tough matchup ahead of him in Trejon Bunda, but definitely both guys looking excited for the opportunity and the challenge.
And with those 2 submission victories, one being via the rear naked choke, the other a head and arm. And there's a very good chance. I mean, you look at this entire prelim card, you know, in the main event coming up, we have Ryan Fedayou taking on Shamil Mutasier, and that's going to be a power-packed fight. The prelims just continue to have the stars of tomorrow. Case in point, we're looking at 2 of them right now in this 140-pound catchweight bout as we go back to Garrett Forte for the official introductions.
On a sewer and drain, present our next bout here at A129, 3 3-minute rounds at a contract weight of 140 pounds. We now introduce to you first the Punch Edibles blue corner. He stands 5'8", weight 138.5 pounds. Perfect thus far in his amateur career with 5 wins, 3 by stoppage, 1 by submission, and no losses. A warrior out of the Resistance Fitness Center from Danville, California, Trejon Bunda. Now he introduces his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the Punch Edibles red corner. At 5'7", weighing 140.25 pounds, he is 3-1 as an amateur with 2 submission victories. Training with AKA from Hyderabad, India, he now fights out of San Jose, California, Ahmed. Marcel Brown.
Marcel Brown drawing the assignment here. Banda told us his game plan. He said, I'd like to throw some flashy stuff in there, but he said whatever it takes to hurt him. Whereas Ahmed said, my game plan, technical aggression, not reckless abandon. So he wants to exercise a little bit of patience here early on against the undefeated Banda.
Both these guys looking extremely locked in, very different to the energy they were bringing on their walkout as they were both smiling and laughing. And Ahmed with the aggressive flurry on the front foot.
Reach advantage for Banda, but Ahmed feels like he's the more explosive of the 2. Ooh, nice jab, finds a home for Banda.
Banda doing a great job of controlling the center and cutting off the cage with Ahmed. Southpaw stance of Ahmed, I was gonna say, but switching as he presses forward with those flurries. And I like the way he's stringing together the combinations. You know, he lands 1, he lands 3 behind it.
Case in point right there, Banda trying to return. We're seeing a lot of body kicks here early on from Ahmed.
Yeah, it looked like Banda may have landed a high kick, but blocked by Ahmed.
Once again, 3-minute rounds for this fight. As Banda coming in 5-0, Ahmed 3-1.
Potentially looking to close the distance and engage in the takedown was Banda, but Ahmed able to create some space and get distance. Definitely looking to keep it on the feet is Ahmed.
Thus far, Banda more than willing to oblige. Another jab by Ahmed. Halfway through the first round. Banda certainly looking to hit some rangefinders here early on.
Ahmed's doing a great job of reversing Bunda whenever he does rush in. So, because I was going to comment on the fact that, you know, Bunda's holding the center, pushing Ahmed back, but Ahmed's doing a great job of knowing when he needs to get his back off of that cage. And he's extremely fast, as you mentioned.
Ahmed also feels like he's the better fighter out of the clinch. Haven't really had an opportunity for that yet. Wow, look at the combination here by Banda as he charges in. Impressive flurry there, final minute of the first round.
Spoke too soon. Looks like we're about to see a little bit of that clinch work that you mentioned. But Ahmed choosing to break and create space yet again.
Both fighters really changing it up with their kicks.
Yeah, definitely seeing a full display of striking here. You know, kicks mixed in with the with the punches. Interesting matchup. You know, Bunda's doing a great job in terms of cage presence. He is landing some big strikes. But Ahmed is landing combinations, you know what I mean? So as far as significant strikes go, you got to think that Ahmed is edging this round. But like I say, a very even matchup so far.
Well, as far as effective strikes and forcing the action, you probably have to give the edge in that first round to Arabaz Ahmed.
Yeah, definitely. As far as, like, say, putting those combos together, you know, cage presence didn't really seem to be much of a disadvantage for him. Anytime that Bunda did try to close the gap, he was able to immediately almost like matador him off and get him back on the cage. So you got to think that Ahmed is edging it, but Bunda had plenty of success of his own with his high kicks. We're about to see some replays here. Heavy blows landing from Bunda in the combination and the flurry that he did choose to throw, but Ahmed was able to close the gap.
Yeah, definitely the strongest moment of the first round for Trejon Bunda.
Yeah, definitely a tough round to score. You know, like I mentioned, both guys having success. I'd like to see Bunda throwing some more flurries and combinations just like the one we just showed on the replay. Definitely had a lot of success when he chose to do so.
Well, Bunda has 2 first-round finishes, but he's also shown us to be a very patient fighter, especially throughout the first round. So we'll see if his corner has a game plan to change things up a bit here in the second. And if you're Ahmed, you have to probably continue with what you brought.
Looks like a little mishap with some ice in the corner as we clean that up for fighter safety.
Bit of a spill. Our 4th fight of the prelims, still 3 more to go before we go live on Fight Pass for A1 Combat 29.
Fight.
Second round underway. Well, more of the same for Ahmed. He's trying to control center, and now Bunda marches right back.
That leg looked like it almost gave way on Bunda just there. I think that calf kick might be adding up that Ahmed's throwing.
Yep.
Takedown attempt from Bunda, beautiful. Looking to mix it up now as we go into the second. Guillotine.
Oh.
Guillotine for Ahmed, though. Looking like
Ahmed has that locked in. Bunda.
Slam from Bunda, but puts himself deeper into the choke. And this.
Exactly. Ahmed did not let up on that grasp. Difficult for us to see from this angle. But Bunda could be in trouble here, Corey.
Yeah, definitely. This looks deep. Bunda's doing a good job. He's trying to use the cage to keep Ahmed square and take away a little bit of that rotational force to finish that choke. But Ahmed relentless on this guillotine, and that was deep. Definitely some panic on the Bunda side, but able to pull his head out. Beautiful work.
Great patience by Bunda, but at the same time, we are seeing the skilled fighter that Arabaz Ahmed is here. He did not panic.
Bunda with a guillotine attempt of his own.
Wow. Whoa, what a return here by Bunda.
1 minute 45 left to work, and this one is deep.
Ahmed could be in trouble, Corey. He's got the leverage here.
Ahmed doesn't really look like he's doing
arching.
much to fight the hands.
Bunda is arching. Now, if you're Ahmed, what's the strategy here?
Ahmed needs to pass to his left side whilst he's passing those legs. Unfortunately, Bunda was able to close the guard back up, which means he is still in danger of this guillotine. You know, fighting that rotational force of Bunda will take away some of that guillotine's power whilst you hand fight, but talk about a reversal.
Yeah.
Looks like he is safe now. Not really doing too much to fight the hands, which is an interesting decision when you're deep in a guillotine, but Ahmed looking like he is in the clear. But wow, both of these guys with a serious threat on those guillotines. Another tough round to score as we go into this last 45 seconds.
No question, exciting turn of events here. Arabaz Ahmed was seconds away from victory with a guillotine, and only seconds later, Bunda was able to reverse course, and now he's had this guillotine locked in for well over a minute with less than 30 seconds to go in the second round. But like you said, Arabaz Ahmed is now out of trouble.
Yeah, Ahmed able to get out of this guillotine position, now sat in half guard in a Kimura threat. Yeah, and hats off to Bunda for staying relentless, you know what I mean? Like, he's still attacking that Kimura. Yeah, wow, amazing from both guys. We thought we were in for a striking match when we saw that first fight, that first round, and, you know, we just got a beautiful display of grappling here in the second.
That was, dare I say, one of the more exciting rounds we have seen from the amateur division in quite some time. As in the opening moments, Ahmed locked in this guillotine.
Guillotine was deep. I mean, both of these guys were in deep guillotines, and we're about to see the second one right here set up by Bunda. Absolutely phenomenal display of grappling as we go into the second round, and a very tight fight to score.
Yeah, Ahmed's made the mistake of lifting up his chin there, and that left it wide open for Bunda. Essentially the final, almost the final 90 seconds of that first round. He had Ahmed in the guillotine, so like you said, difficult round to score, but in the eyes of the judges, you know, who finished the round stronger certainly was Bunda there.
Yeah, definitely. Potentially 1-1 going into this round, maybe, but like I say, very difficult. We saw some phenomenal striking in round one, some great grappling in round two, and I think it's gonna come down to who can put it all together in round three.
And think about it, you know, Corey, that was an exhausting second round for both Bunda and Ahmed. So let's see who has some gas left in the tank for this third round.
Yeah, certainly. Bunda rubbing his eye, potentially talking about an eye poke, but I don't think the referee agrees. And yeah, Bunda's coming in at 5-0, potentially looking to face his first loss and probably his toughest match to date.
Yeah, no doubt.
But as I said, a very tight fight so far, and 2 minutes 30 for these guys to work and really put their stamp on things.
Tonight, another example of a completely different fighter that Arabaz Ahmed's been in 2025 versus his professional debut just over a year ago. Oh my, nice left hand. Ooh.
Spinning heel kick.
Ahmed taking some chances here in the third round, and Bunda makes him pay with a combination.
Yeah, heavy strikes from Bunda in that dirty boxing range. Definitely looking to put his stamp on this round. I'm sure the corner told him he needs to go out there and
beautiful
really
uppercut out of the clinch by Bunda. Oh, another uppercut, some phone booth action here. Bunda continues.
Ahmed potentially hurt as he backs up. He did touch his knee.
Yeah, Ahmed's starting to have some difficulty here. Halfway through the third round.
Bunda relentless here. And he has a minute and a half left to keep going. I wonder if he can keep this pace going.
Bunda still mixing it up with the kicks. Now has Ahmed up against the cage. And it is just target practice right now.
Beautiful job from Bunda mixing up the levels. We see him setting up those body shots, using that to set up the uppercuts. And yeah, absolutely phenomenal striking on display right here as he puts...
Ahmed's having a difficult time covering up.
Body lock with the attempt of a reap from Ahmed, unable to get the takedown against Bunda, but Bunda breathing heavy, and I don't blame him. You know, that was a very high output as we enter the last minute of this round, and he's back at it looking to finish.
Well, we're seeing the signs of exhaustion from Ahmed. He could be rocked as Bunda, and that'll do it! What a right hand! And Trayvon Bunda, in a war of attrition, remains undefeated, moving to 6-0. Corey, we knew this had fight of the prelims potential, and these two did not disappoint.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, such a high-level fight for amateur prelims, and as we mentioned, it can't be long before we see Trayvon Bunda moving on up into the pro the pro card with A1, but you know, I'm sure he's happy tonight. He's gonna go celebrate this team, remains undefeated. Potentially his toughest match today. Ahmed did a phenomenal job and definitely gave him plenty to think about and to work on, but at the end of the day, Trejon Bunda able to walk away with the win.
Just incredible grit and perseverance from both of these fighters. But you know, Ahmed really was in control for the majority of the first round. Then we had the trading off of the guillotines in the second round. But in the third, it was Bunda who attacked early on, and he just stayed patient, Corey. He kept that attack up, and it became target practice towards the end.
Yeah, definitely. He was absolutely relentless, and he made it clear that he was not looking to ride it to the judges. He was looking for that finish in that third round, and he did a phenomenal job in getting it.
Bunda maintains a near-perfect finish rate, moving to 6-0.
Sit right here, please. Yeah.
With 5 finishes. But dare I say, this might be the victory that means the most to him thus far.
Open your eyes up for me.
As it went all the way to the third round.
You know where you're at?
As Arabez Ahmed still recovering in his corner.
And hats off to Arabaz, you know, I mean, he presented challenges that we haven't really seen Bunda face in the past. So, yeah, an absolutely amazing performance from both of these guys here tonight.
You know, and Ahmed has had such a phenomenal 2025, already his 4th fight of the year. 3 first-round finishes walking into tonight, and he knew this was not going to be easy. He still wanted to take the fight because, look, both these men want to be professionals. You only get to the pro ranks by fighting the best competition. Case in point right here, 2 truly phenomenal fighters who fought at 140 catch tonight, and Ahmed is back to his feet, fortunately, as we're going to go to Garrett Fertig for the official announcements.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the A1 cage, referee Marcel Brown steps in and waves off the contest. Official time, 2 minutes, 20 seconds of round number 3. Declaring your winner by TKO and still undefeated, Trejon Bunda.
Sacramento, let's hear it for both of these fighters. That was a main event fight right here. Trejon Bunda, brother, you're moving to 6-0. That was a war of attrition. He had an incredible first round. You both almost guillotined each other in the second round. Then in the third, you took over. I have to believe this fight means a lot to you with your performance.
Yes, sir, this means a lot. Trejon Bunda, legal Mex team, United States, baby. Where are my single ladies at tonight? That's where I'm gonna stay away from. I'm still loving my ex-Toxica, but yeah, it was a great win. Feels good.
Well, this is on YouTube. A lot of women are watching this right now.
Yeah, I mean, feels great. I got a great team behind me. I'm having fun. You commentators always ask me for my nickname and stuff, but I got too many. Handsome, tall, dark, funny, so Trejon Bunda's good.
Undefeated.
Undefeated. I'm 101. My name's made up. So I'm making a name for myself.
Now, a lot of people want to know, you are now 6-0 with 5 finishes. You know, how close are we to fighting in the professional ranks? Because every time out, you continue to show more and more.
Yeah, said this in every interview I've done, man. I'll go pro when my coaches give me that green light. We've talked about it. I'll talk to them about this, but I want the kid from his gym, bruh, the Doev, Russian kid. He got all gray hair. I can't tell if he's 20 or 45, but good wrestler. I got respect for my opponent, bro. And the whole gym, they got savages out there for sure, but I would love to come test it. I don't care about the belt. Try and put hands on someone here. So I would like that kid next and then go from there with my coaches.
Well, you just put on a truly amazing performance. Congratulations. Trejon Bunda now 6-0, remaining undefeated.
Resistance, baby, resistance.
And there we have it. Another TKO win for our card tonight. Trejon Bunda with the 3rd round TKO. And we have many exciting fights ahead of us as we look to close out the prelims. Coming up next, unfortunately, Sabrina Kuna and Kimberly Padilla will not be fighting tonight due to a technical issue with weight. But, you know, we're going to move on to our next bout, which will be David Sally and Brandon Aravello. But just to recap, fight number 1, we had Tofukala Omari getting the TKO win, followed by Matt Marlin with a win via DQ in an unfortunate turn of events. We then went on to a unanimous decision from Ethan Robledo, and now we have a TKO win from Trejon Bunda. So that was our first 4 fights of the night. So we have 3 more prelims as we pull up some highlights here.
And we have some very interesting situations with the next 2 fights, which we will get to in just a second as we check out a plethora of highlights from Trejon Bunda and Ahmed. I mean, Corey, the first round, it was really Ahmed kind of dictating the pace, forcing his will on Bunda, which was his game plan. Then in the second round, Bunda almost lost to a guillotine in the first half of the second, and then he turned the tables and almost submitted Ahmed with a guillotine. And then in the third round, it was essentially an offensive arsenal by Trejon Bunda that led him to victory.
Yeah, certainly. What we were touting up to a close fight. He turned the tides in round 3, and it's just a true testament to the grit and durability of Trejon Bunda. You know, there are many times in that first couple of rounds where, you know, lesser fighters would have potentially quit or found a reason to break, and he stayed resilient and he persevered and was able to get that TKO finish in the third round.
And as you can see by our interview just moments ago, certainly has the charisma to be a star as well. And single ladies, Trejon Bunda is available and he is undefeated as he has his hand raised. What a moment, what a performance. Let's go back to Garrett Fertig.
Set to make his way to the cage, David Sally.
What an opportunity for David Sally. Has 1 fight in the cage under his belt, but it was over a decade ago. He then decided to transition to Muay Thai, and he's been fighting in Muay Thai ever since. 11 fights there in the art of 8 limbs. But he said, you know, I was given this opportunity 2 weeks ago. I wanted to fight in the cage again to see if it's something I want to do consistently, and that's why he's here right now. Also a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so it's not all about striking for him. He feels very strongly about his ground game as well.
Yeah, what a testament to the confidence coming in here. You know, as you mentioned, he has a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so clearly comfortable on the ground, but been away honing his skills, a Rising Stars Muay Thai champion, and you know how nice it is for him to have the opportunity to be able to just say, hey, I want to know if this is what I want to do. Give me a shot, let me try it, you know, and that's the great thing about the A1 amateur side. You know, it really gives those grassroots and those up-and-comers and the people that are kind of wanting to try the hand at MMA the opportunity to come out here and get a feel for it and gain that experience.
Yeah, definitely fearless attitude just from talking to David Sally earlier today. And once again, another catchweight bout here on the prelims. Following this one, we have in our co-main of the prelims, lightweight, Brandon Rodriguez will be taking on the Flash Dash Allen. And then in the main event, a light heavyweight battle that is certainly going to be can't miss as David Sally awaits his opponent. Back to Garrett Fertig.
Making his way now, Brandon Aravello.
Looking to continue his momentum after having his hand raised at A125 is Brandon Aravello, 3-0 thus far with 1 knockout. Before training in MMA, he was a backyard fighter for a couple of fights, then decided, look, I want to take my skills to the next level. He found standalone MMA in Chico just over 4 years ago, and right now he feels like his striking is better than ever, but he realized how important it is to tighten up his ground game. And that's where he's at today, still undefeated. And if he does win tonight, I'm told he's going to receive a title opportunity in his next fight. So a lot to gain here for Brandon Aravello.
Yeah, definitely. You know, he's been in this cage under these lights multiple times.
Yep.
And you got to think that also plays into the confidence coming out here tonight. As you mentioned, his opponent hasn't fought since 2012. And Aravello, he's been staying active. You know, he's been in there. He's been doing, like I say, it's different training and having confidence in the ground game. and, you know, fighting Muay Thai and actually being in the cage, putting it all together. So definitely an experience advantage for Brandon Aravello as he comes out here tonight. And I'm excited to see if that plays a difference.
All right, the stage is set for this catch weight clash. Let's go back to Garrett Fertig for the official introductions.
We head now to a 160-pound catchweight bout, set for 3 2-minute rounds, brought to you by Aloha Electric Supply Company. We now introduce to you first the Punch Edibles blue corner. At 5'10", weighing 158 3/4 pounds. With a 45-second stoppage victory in his amateur debut, his record now stands at 1-0 out of Havoc Fit from Sacramento. By way of Carmichael, California, David Salee. And now he introduces his opponent, fighting out of the Punch Edibles red corner. Standing 5'9", weighing 160 pounds, 2-0 at A1 Combat, 4-1 overall as an amateur. Training with standalone MMA from Chico, California, Brandon Aravello. Referee Brian Tyler.
Well, I stand corrected. Aravello has a 4-1 overall record. And he's 2-0 in A1 combat competition, victorious at A1 25 and 26.
So sometimes we see a little bit of a differential due to the fact that people sometimes fight on sanctioned shows.
Right.
So Pure Combat, for example, would have been not under camo, so his camo record would technically be undefeated. It does cause a little bit of confusion because we often see people having many more fights on Tapology than they do with the Camo Commission. And that predominantly happens, but only happens at amateur just due to the sanctioning.
Nonetheless, it's been an impressive amateur run for Brandon Aravello. 2-minute rounds here, though, because David Salee only has one mixed martial arts fight in his career thus far, albeit very experienced in Muay Thai. Nice left hand by Salee.
Kicks landing heavy on both sides. Southpaw stance of Salee and orthodox of Aravello as Aravello pushes forward and looks to gain this control of the center. Sorry, I've had to pause a little bit as Salee pushed back forward himself.
Salee, a bit of a height advantage, perhaps reach advantage as well, but Aravello considers himself to be the quicker of the two. Seeing some switches of the stance here by the southpaw, Salee. Ooh, left hand finds a home, but great counter there by Aravello.
Yeah, Salee looking a little bit stunned, but immediately back to firing his combinations and pushing forward.
Beautiful jab there by Aravello.
I don't want to speak too soon, but I think it's safe to say that we will not be seeing any wrestling here tonight.
I think you are absolutely correct in that assumption.
And I will not complain.
No. I mean, we saw a little bit of everything in that last fight, so at this point, the excitement will certainly continue between two tremendous strikers.
Aravello biting on every movement of Salee. That's one thing I'm noticing. Like, he's kind of reacting to every small movement, and that's going to allow Salee to kind of time his rhythm and tag him a little bit. Whereas if you look at Salee, he's not really overslipping, overreaching, and very calm and composed in these striking exchanges. But Aravello's been landing some heavy kicks to open that round out. A very tough first round to score.
But if you're Aravello, you probably want to avoid the clinch. Obviously, that would be a strength of someone like Aravello fighting in Muay Thai for the past decade like he has. So if you're Aravello, you probably want to maintain your distance a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, like we had touched on, both of these guys do have grappling skills and capabilities. Are we going to see it tonight? I think it's unlikely, but they are both capable. And we see here both of these guys having success pushing forward. Heavy overhand from Salee, but immediately countered by Aravello, and looked like he had Salee rung for a little bit, but Salee able to immediately regain composure and start pushing back forward.
Tremendous counter there by Aravello. In the closing moments, though, we did see Salee start to land some knees out of the clinch, which obviously speaks to his high-level Muay Thai skill. So we're about ready for the second round. Thanks for joining us live on YouTube. This is our 5th fight of the A1 Combat 29 Prelims. We're going live on Fight Pass for A1 29, 7 p.m. Pacific. Oh!
Heavy inside leg kick from Salee drops Aravello to his knee. And that's the thing with that split stance. It can be a little bit awkward throwing it, sorry, due to the risk of accidental low blows, especially with that split stance. It's very easy to do. But it does open that stance and potentially off balance Aravello, and it's going to slow him down pressing forward. So beautiful job utilizing that from Saleh.
Oh, a nice right hand by Saleh. And he really has the mindset. He said, look, I have nothing to lose. I've been fighting Muay Thai for a long time. I'm excited to get in the cage. And we're just really seeing that kind of mindset from him. He continues to try to march forward. But to Aravello's credit, he's firing right back.
Yeah, and this is a great fight for Saleh. You know, he's got a guy that's willing to engage and exchange in these positions and kind of giving him exactly what he's looking for.
This is what Saleh wants.
Beautiful dirty boxing in the clinch from Saleh. Obviously, due to the amateur rule set, we're not able to throw elbows. Can throw knees to the body, just to clarify from our earlier circumstances.
Not to the head.
But not to the head. And beautiful takedown from Saleh, looking to show us a little bit of those brown belt skills.
Absolutely. Strong second round here. And in 2-minute rounds, you have to take advantage of every single second. Saleh certainly doing that here in the second, trying to make a pass into side control, perhaps.
And you got to think he's potentially looking at being 2 rounds up if he manages to control and land some damage here for the last 30 seconds. First round was tight.
Nice
People
pass.
in the comments are saying they think he won that round.
First round was difficult.
First round's difficult, but I do think potentially looking at Saleh up 2. So Aravello is really going to have to stress some urgency as we come out here in the third, because we've got 10 seconds left to escape this dominant mount position.
Tremendous jiu-jitsu in the latter portion of the second round by Saleh. Makes the pass into side control and then was able to establish a full mount as we are going to come to a third round. But what a performance by David Saleh there in the second.
Yeah, definitely. And you got to think the Saleh's got to be just gaining confidence. You know what I mean? Like, he's a Muay Thai fighter coming in here, and now he's out grappling his opponent. So you got to think he's just increasing in confidence. You can see it on his face. Aravello, like I say, maybe he won that first. It was close. Not sure what the judges are seeing tonight sometimes. So, but you got to think that his team are trying to light a fire at him and get him to come out and put a stamp on that third round and really just not leave it to the judges, as they say.
So we check out the standout moments from the second round, and early on there, Aravello getting rocked just a bit. There was a nice right hand by Saleh, and then he closed out with some strong grappling action in a very impressive second round. And Saleh made a point to say, he said, look, I don't want everyone to think I'm just a Muay Thai fighter. I've been training jiu-jitsu this entire time. I am a brown belt, so I want to show a little bit of everything, and we're seeing it so far.
Yeah, definitely. Like you mentioned, we talked about layoff, but not seeing any signs of. I mean, he's been active in Muay Thai. I don't think there was any question about ring rust or anything like that, but definitely showing a full display of MMA in that second round.
All right, gentlemen, third and final round.
We're seeing some comments on YouTube. How can we watch the main card tonight? It's really simple. Go to UFC Fight Pass, and you could sign up. You get some of the greatest MMA action across the globe on UFC Fight Pass, essentially on a daily basis. And that is, of course, the home of A1 Combat.
We talked about Aravello needing to light a fire under him. Oh! Press forward, potentially drop Saleh with that straight right. Heavy blows as he backs Saleh up to the cage. And yeah, we talked about potentially not letting it go to the judges, and he is doing his best not to right now.
Oh, another beautiful right hand.
Saleh is wrong right now. I think he needs to look to tie up Aravello, because Aravello is about to unload and potentially finish. We see these fights get stopped a lot earlier in amateur, Johnny. I mean, fighter safety is priority, and at the end of the day, these aren't the professional ranks, so yeah.
Well, this is certainly the opening of a third round that Brandon Aravello needed as he continues to march forward, hitting the bullseye one after the other, and this could be the beginning of the end. Can Saleh survive all the way through this third round? It doesn't appear. Another right hand rocks Saleh, and now another right hand.
Referee looking closely.
Oh my goodness.
And Saleh is just eating those blows. He doesn't quite seem out of it yet, but he's not quite in there either. And as you mentioned, John, we've got 30 seconds left, and that could be it.
That'll do it. Corey, he was having a very difficult time covering up, and it was right hand after right hand, and finally the knockout blow was dealt as Brandon Aravello withstood a very impressive second round by David Saleh to score a third round knockout in the final 30 seconds of the fight. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. You know, we talked about the striking pedigree of both of these guys, and Aravello just able to absolutely turn the, to change the direction of the fight. We talked about Saleh being up 2 potentially, and Aravello just went out there and said, not on my watch, and was able to get that TKO finish. Absolutely devastating finish for Saleh, but what a performance for having not fought in over 10 years in the MMA octagon.
Credit to Saleh. He kept attempting to march forward, but it got to the point where he had a difficult time keeping his hands up. And Aravello picked his moment, and the right hand found a home and found victory for Aravello. And that's a great point, Corey. It's very possible that Saleh won those first 2 rounds, so Aravello needed to have a lot of urgency moving into this 3rd round.
Yeah, certainly. We said that between the 2nd and the 3rd round. I said his corner team's probably going to light a fire under him, and he came out and he said, he said, we're not going to those judges, so.
Well, the match was lit, the fire went ablaze as Brandon Aravello with an incredible finish to this fight. Let's go to Garrett Fertig for the official announcement.
Referee Brian Tyler steps in and stops this fight. Official time, 1 minute, 30 seconds of round number 2. Declaring your winner by TKO, Brandon Aravello.
Well, not to repeat myself, let's hear it one more time again for these 2 fighters. My goodness. Man, Brandon Aravello, such grit, such perseverance, a knockout in the final 30 seconds of the 3rd round. You withstood a very strong 2nd round. His jiu-jitsu skills were on display, but in the 3rd, what was the mindset? Did you realize you had to have urgency and aggression there?
Yeah, I knew, Coach told me I was down 2 rounds, so I knew I had to put it on him. And I was finding a success with a cross, so I was pulling his hand down, his left hand, and punching the cross through, and that's what I did. That's what happened.
Certainly was. It became target practice towards the end. Now, I've spoken to you a few times. You said, mixed martial arts is my life. You don't have a plan B. I have to make progress every time out. How do you feel about the performance tonight?
Coach just told me, you got it, dude. So I got it in me. This is what I am, and this is all I've been doing for the past year or 2. So, and I'm ready. I was supposed to fight for a title here, but everyone else pulled out, and David here stepped up last minute, so congrats to him too as well.
Absolutely. Well, I was just told after winning tonight, you're guaranteed a title opportunity next time out. Brandon Aravello, now 5-1, fighting for a title very soon. Congratulations, man.
Brandon Aravello, your winner for tonight as we look to move on to some highlights from that fight. Saleh coming out, having not fought MMA since 2012. Gone on to have a successful Muay Thai career, winning the Rising Stars Muay Thai belt, but unfortunately that was not enough to get him the win here tonight. A close first 2 rounds, Saleh able to have plenty of success with his Muay Thai, utilizing his kicks and strikes, but Aravello eventually able to pull back into the 3rd, dropping Saleh with a heavy right hand and finishing with an absolute blitz against the cage.
And you know, Corey, we enter every prelim card with high expectations, and every time those expectations are exceeded. We've seen such incredible action, and we still have 2 highly competitive fights remaining, as Brandon Aravello having his hand raised, moving to 5-1. What a performance it was by both he and Saleh, as we go back to Garrett Fertig for the introductions.
And now, please welcome Brandon Rodriguez.
Brandon Rodriguez, only 20 years young. This freestyle fighter said he had a tremendous camp, primarily in Orlando. And he said it was really great to train with fighters he had never met before because it really improved all elements of his game. He's been training for almost 3 years. And I asked him, I said, well, you're only 20 years old. What gave you the inspiration to fight? He said, I'll be honest, I started watching The Ultimate Fighter on TV, and I thought, hey, that seems pretty cool. He was that nonchalant, and he realized he loved it, and here he is at 20, at 4-1 with 3 finishes.
Yeah, I feel like we're definitely seeing that new wave coming through. You know, the fighters getting younger, and they're having more fun, you know, and it's great that someone's doing this out of love for the sport, you know, and it just goes to show in his performances, you know, coming in with 2 first-round TKOs, a second-round submission. You know, like you mentioned, he's very young in age, but he's gaining that experience. And I feel like we talked a little bit about the level of the amateurs coming in here and performing in this stage with the pros on the same card. I feel like it almost forces that level to rise also. So these are early pros, you know, they're pros we're building from grassroots to the top.
And he is up tonight against another incredibly young and incredibly talented fighter. Garrett Fertig, take it away.
Ready now to walk the aisle, Dash Allen.
Dash the Flash Allen. 21 years young, not only sports a 4-1 record in the cage, also has some Muay Thai experience under his belt. Certainly has proven to be a finisher, looking to stay on his winning streak. Following his defeat of Walter Shaw back at A126, he started training martial arts all the way back at the age of 8, and then wrestled through high school, found the opportunity at AKA San Jose to start training. He's been there for the past 4 years. Dash Allen is essentially in a class all of his own. He's a very unique individual, very fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely another one, like we said, that just live and love this sport. And, you know, that started it so young. We talk about their age, but like I mentioned, their experience coming in here is beyond that of many of their elders. And we saw that in his last fight. You know, it was an absolutely brutal knee that he landed against Walter Shaw, able to finish that fight. And yeah, just very excited for this fight as we see 2 young prospects coming in here again, looking to put on a full display of mixed martial arts.
And also, shout out to both fighters, 20 and 21. One coming out to Chris Isaac, one coming out to Coolio. Those are 2 men who know their music as we go to Garrett Fertig for the introductions.
Graphic Nature Custom Design Services and Printing presents our next lightweight bout. Set for 3 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, the Punch Edibles blue corner. Standing 5'9", fighting at 155.5 pounds. He holds a 4-1 amateur record with 2 stoppage wins and 1 submission. Coming out of Salinas Valley MMA, fighting out of Soledad, California, Brandon Rodriguez. Now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, sponsored by Punch Edibles. He stands 6'2", weighing 156 pounds. He enters with 4 wins, 1 loss, 2 coming by stoppage. Fighting out of the renowned American Kickboxing Academy from Berkeley, California, Dash the Flash Allen. The referee, David Shirley.
David Shirley in the house tonight draws the assignment for this lightweight clash. And you know, Dash Allen, training at AKA, obviously a great striker, but since A126 also competed in a freestyle wrestling tournament. He's also competed in jiu-jitsu competitions. He feels like his ground game is approaching his striking game. And man, you ready? The bright future. You ready? So many fighters we've seen on the prelims. It's very exciting to watch as we are underway. Oh my goodness, a head kick moments in.
Yeah, heavy calf kick from Rodriguez, but answered by a heavy head kick from Allen. And immediately in with that kick catch to a sweep.
Dash Allen standing at 6'2". For those of you watching and wondering how tall he is, certainly the height advantage, reach advantage, leverage advantage. Rodriguez, 4-1, 3 finishes, has his work cut out for him.
Great recovery from Rodriguez there. You know, he was on his back, but he used his feet to stay active, to keep that distance with Allen, and was able to work back up to his feet.
If you're Rodriguez, smart strategy there with the lower leg kicks. Oh, beautiful sweep there by Dash Allen. Great counter, though.
What I like from both of these guys is they're not taking a second to take a break, you know what I mean? Allen.
Oh, my goodness, he tags Dash Allen there.
Allen in with the shot attempt, but Rodriguez able to immediately stuff that takedown and get a reversal. He's now on top. I was just saying, these guys aren't
saying some of these fighters do not look like amateurs. Case in point, Brandon Rodriguez withstood the early attack from Dash Allen, countered back, tagged him, and then took the back, and that was curtains. Unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. I was just talking about how he's wasting no time and he's using every single moment to his advantage, you know, looking to land strikes, looking to create the space he's looking for, and yeah, wow, way to jump on that neck and attack that choke, you know.
As we check out the action, it was the left hand there that really rocked Dash Allen early on. Dash went in for the takedown, but look at the beautiful transition here by Rodriguez. So smooth.
Yeah, Brandon Rodriguez adding a first-round submission to his resume as he looks to advance on to 5-1, and that was a beautiful setup, you know. He wasted no time. He saw an opportunity and he jumped it, and Dash Allen is a formidable opponent to many, so what a testament to the game. I mean, Rodriguez.
We know both of these fighters, regardless of outcome, have bright futures. But Brandon Rodriguez, the vice-like grip in the rear naked choke, moving to 5-1. What a performance. Fight after fight brings the electricity. As we're going to go to the center of the cage, Garrett Fertig will make the official announcements.
The tap comes at 1 minute 24 seconds of round number 1. Your winner by arm trap, rear naked choke. Moving to 5-1, Brandon Rodriguez.
Brandon Rodriguez. What a performance. Dash Allen has all the talent in the world. Clearly you do as well. Take us through this first round, because you withstood an attack from him early on. You countered, and so smooth transitioning to the back, locking in the rear naked choke.
First and foremost, I want to thank once again my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He trains my hands so that I could bend the bow of bronze, and that's what I did tonight. Yeah, I knew Dash was a stud of an athlete. I knew that I had to be first and put the pressure on him. And I've been working on my jiu-jitsu a lot this camp, and I knew if I could snatch up that neck, that would be all she wrote.
Now, take everyone through the strategy when you're fighting someone 6'2". Did you plan on being patient early on? Because he really came after you, but you countered so effectively.
No, sir. Patience was not in this game plan. I watched a few of his fights, and I knew that he kind of just uses a long guard to stay clear because he's tall. And I knew if I could catch him and get him hurt, I could get the finish.
Well, you certainly did. You're only 20 years young. You're now 5-1. And also credit to you being 20 and choosing Chris Isaak Wicked Game as your walkout song.
Yeah, that sort of came to me on the car ride over here. I was listening to it on my AirPods, and I was just like, yep, this is the one.
Well, congratulations, man. Bright future ahead. Brandon Rodriguez.
Brandon Rodriguez with the rear naked choke win. Very confident in his interview with Johnny just now. And yeah, hats off to him. What a phenomenal performance against the tough Dashiell Allen. Moving on to 5-1 and adding a first-round submission to his resume. Johnny, looks like we're going to pull some highlights up here. What did you see?
Well, we certainly saw a lot of action. We saw tremendous counters by Brandon Rodriguez. Opening moments, head kick by Dash Allen, and he was really the aggressor early on. But once Rodriguez, I believe it was a left, that hit Dash Allen square, Allen went in for the takedown, but Rodriguez was able to sprawl and immediately took the back. And Corey, everything about it, everything was so precise and so smooth and just so impressive.
Yeah, definitely. Great reactions from Rodriguez. You know, able to stuff that takedown, reverse the position, still landing strikes. And yeah, beautiful, you know, landing that flurry of strikes, forcing Dashiell to shoot, knowing he was going to shoot, stuffs the takedown. And if you notice, he's also still landing strikes in these position transitions. And that's what sets up this choke as Dashiell rolls over to his back. Beautiful job from Rodriguez.
It's really hard to believe how young some of these fighters are. Dash Allen only 21, Brandon Rodriguez 20 years old, already moving to 5-1. Absolutely incredible, but right now we're gonna check out future action for A1 Combat. A1 Combat 30, Saturday, October 4th, Marlin Husinov looking to defend the A1 welterweight title as he takes on a very experienced challenger in Meng Ding, 34-9. That is going to be a firefight. And then only 6 days later, Friday, October 10th, A1 Combat 31, Bruno Souza looking to defend for the first time his bantamweight title, was a double champion, vacated it. Now Shane Collins is the featherweight champion, his teammate at Team Cobra. And then moving on to November 7th, A1 Combat returns back to the Hard Rock Live in Sacramento for A1 Combat 32. That's right, we are finishing out 2025 as A1 Combat only does, strong and electric. But right now it's main event time for the prelims. Let's go to Garrett Fertig. Oh, actually, right now we're gonna take a quick break. Before we go to the main event, let's take a look at the entire fight card for A1 Combat 29 live tonight. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on UFC Fight Pass. Main event, Nick Maximov looking to defend for the second consecutive time, taking on the challenger Renato Valenci. In the co-main event, more middleweight action. Kevem Felipe Sembayo Cancini taking on Keenan Pattershuk. That has firefight written all over it. Could be a lightweight eliminator bout. Anthony Figueroa taking on Too Quick Toby Misak. 150-pound catchweight bout. Eric Sanchez coming off one of the best performances of his career, taking on Humberto Bandenay, 18 finishes in his career. Flyweight bout, those are always incredibly fun to watch. Zeke Martinez taking on Michael Wood, and we're gonna kick everything off in a welterweight war as relentless Rafael Vega takes on the Dream, Joaquin Garcia. But now without further ado, let's go to Garrett Fertig.
Set now for our featured amateur bout. Please welcome first, Ryan Fedayou.
The 23-year-old native of Pisa, Italy, Ryan Fedayou has been consumed with mixed martial arts since childhood, and thus far it has really been an incredible run as an amateur as he walks tonight with an 8-2 record, 6 of those being knockouts, also a submission, almost a perfect finishing rate, 5 of them being in the first round. But Corey, we expected him to turn pro last year, but unfortunately for him, he fell short to Ian Russell via decision. So he told us today, he said, look, I made the decision to travel to Thailand. I did a full camp there. Then I went to Japan. Then I came home to train. Credit to Fedayou for having such discipline, as he didn't feel like he was quite ready yet. So tonight, he really wants to have a standout performance.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, he's really taking advantage of the opportunity he has here to gain that experience. You know, we have some of the best amateurs that the sport has to offer, and he's taking his time. You know, like I said, he's testing himself. He's closing up those gaps, and like we said, he's got 6 TKOs. He's got 1 triangle win. You know, he's King of the Cage champion, and he's coming off a loss to the A1 AMI light heavyweight title. So he's already like at the top for amateurs. And yeah, like I say, it can't be long before he turns pro, but it's great to see someone really taking advantage of the opportunities that he has to make sure that he is a fully well-rounded mixed martial artist before making that step.
And to your point about being well-rounded, he told me his mindset has completely shifted over the last 8 months. He said, you know, for a while I was getting in a routine to where I felt like I had to go to training. I had to be a great fighter. He said, over these past 8 months, I realized I get to do these things. I'm lucky enough to be doing these things. He said, look, I realize if you don't want it, no one's gonna give it to you. He said, I admit, Ian Russell wanted to win more than I did back in November. So mentally, we are seeing a different Ryan Fedayou, and we are about to see an amazing fight in this main event. Let's get his opponent out to the cage.
And now please welcome Shamil Mutasier.
Shamil Mutasier coming in tonight undefeated, 3-0. training at American Kickboxing Academy and the Dagestan Fight Academy. He's been in the U.S. for 3 years, and he told us he had 10 fights canceled since coming to the U.S. due to his opponents dropping out. And so for him, making this walk tonight, it means a lot to him personally. And he really wants to put on a standout performance. Certainly has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I couldn't find too much on Shamil Murtazalayev. You know, I had a quick look at his Instagram. It says that he's a world champion in grappling. And from what I could see, he does have a very extensive background in grappling. So, you know, you got to think Fedayou coming in here talking about how he's gone to Thailand and closed those gaps in his striking and everything. You know, he's going to have to be watching out for the grappling of Shamil Murtazalayev. But, yeah, very interesting match coming out here tonight. One guy that we've seen plenty and another guy that we've barely seen anything on, if anything at all. So very, very exciting matchup to see what he can offer Ryan Fedayou.
Intriguing light heavyweight bout here, and I'm going to just use the name Shamil, because Murtazalayev, it takes a long time to say. Throughout this fight, I'll refer to him as Shamil. He did say, I grew up on the wrestling mats in Dagestan, and obviously the history, the record-breaking history that Dagestani fighters have made in mixed martial arts. Clearly, you could expect him to use that grappling to his advantage tonight, if given the opportunity.
Yeah, certainly. We've definitely seen a trend of dominance from the Dagestani wrestling. But as we mentioned, Ryan Fedayou, one of our most experienced amateurs on not just the card, but in the region as a whole. And I'm sure he's excited for this challenge tonight as he comes against a very formidable grappler in Shamil.
Shamil, only 25 years of age. Fedayou, 23. Not sure if there's a glove issue there, but now Murtazalayev now entering the cage for this light heavyweight main event of the A1 Combat 29 prelims. Let's go to Garrett Furtick.
We close out the prelims here at A1 29 with our featured light heavyweight amateur bout, three-minute rounds. We introduce first the Punch Edibles blue corner. At 5'10", his official weight 205 pounds. The former light heavyweight title challenger brings an impressive 8-2 amateur record into the A1 cage, with 6 of those wins coming by stoppage and 1 by submission. Splitting time between Underground MMA and MMA Gold from Sutter Creek, California, Ryan Big Fury Fedayou. Now we introduce his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the Punch Edibles red corner. Standing 6 foot tall, he weighed in at 204.5 pounds. This 3-0 undefeated fighter with 1 submission represents American Kickboxing Academy and Dagestan fighter from Dagestan, Russia, Shamil Mutasier. Referee Mike Beltran.
The great Mike Beltran with the assignment for this prelim main event.
All the way back.
Fedayou standing at 6'3", reach advantage as well.
All right, gentlemen, first round. Ready to fight? Ready to fight? Hey, let's go.
You have to imagine Shamil certainly looking to take this fight to the ground. Fedayou looking to force the issue early on here.
Yeah, Fedayou definitely, you know, looking to implement some respect in that strike and come straight out, sticks the hard.
Wow, nice head kick, follows up with a right hand. Does Shamil charging right in. Fedayou in trouble here early on.
We did not see that coming. We talked about the pedigree of the grappling coming in here from Murtazalayev, but wow, did not have Fedayou getting dropped early in this first round.
That was lightning quick, the head kick and following with the right hand, and now the grappling skills on display. What a transition to side control there by Shamil.
Yeah.
And now looking to take the back.
Less than a minute into this round, and Shamil is on the back of Fedayou. Both hooks in now, hunting for that choke, but settling for some ground and pound and heavy blows here.
It has been a dominant first minute for Shamil, and now looking to lock in the guillotine, perhaps.
Yeah, Fedayou rolls out able to escape the hooks of Shamil, but Shamil riding it through and getting in on that guillotine.
Both fighters back to their feet, and now Ryan Fedayou able to withstand that onslaught, but can he reverse course?
Amazing scramble, but testament to Fedayou for being able to get back up to his feet here and mitigate the damage of that grappling offense from Shamil.
Fedayou able to land a knee there in the clinch.
Hard knee from Shamil as they break off from the cage. Fedayou back to holding the center.
Oh, another right-hand counter by Shamil, and now follows up with a left.
Corner Fedayou yelling at him to let it go, but I mean, definitely some hesitancy, and you've got to think that has something to do with getting from Mutasier.
Fedayou lands a right knee to the midsection. Follows up with a lower leg kick, and now a right hand. This is a hard-hitting first round.
Fedayou doing a good job of walking down Shamil. He's got to be careful. Missed on that kick and was able to have it caught. Shamil now in on that single leg against the cage.
Waiting moments of the first round, and it has certainly been impactful.
Yeah, dominant first minute from Shamil. Fedayou able to start coming back into the zone, but heavy blows as we close out this round.
Yeah, nice jab to finish out the first round. Well, Corey, these prelims have provided a lot of surprises. And case in point, you could argue a little bit of a surprise here in this first round.
Definitely, yeah, that heavy right hand over the top from Shamil dropped Fedayou early in that first minute of the round, and definitely set the tone for the rest of the round. You know, Fedayou a little bit less confident as we look to take it back to the feet later in the round.
Fedayou coming in 8-2 overall with 7 finishes. And as we mentioned, Shamil, we knew he was a tremendous grappler. Otherwise, didn't know a lot about him. He's been in the U.S. for 3 years since moving from Dagestan. Obviously has training an incredible gym at AKA. And he looks incredibly fresh after that first round.
What are you doing? Back there. Almost.
Well, Mike Beltran saying, hey, you're going to go when we're ready.
Yeah, Shamil definitely ready to get that action back underway as Beltran reminds him yet again to get back into his corner. Both of these guys excited to get back to round 2.
Round 2 underway in the prelim main event. Light heavyweight clash here. Wow.
Front kick lands up the middle from Shamil, but loses his footing. Fedayou back to backing him up, controlling the center. Beautiful body kick. I'd like to see Fedayou start throwing combinations. Like, he'll land one, but then he'll eat 2, you know what I mean? And
case in point right there, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And that's also allowing Shamil to get in on these takedown attempts because he knows that once Fedayou lands one, he's going to reset, he's going to move. So it kind of gives him that timing a little bit too. So I'd like to see some more combinations from Fedayou.
Yeah, Shamil's counter game has been so impressive here early on in this fight. Another jab, finds a home for Shamil.
Yeah, Fedayou's doing a great job of backing Shamil up. I would just like to see him empty the clip a little bit more, because if we do see it go to the case of the judges.
Wait,
complaints from Shamil.
Not quite sure what happened there, but
Pointing at his bottom teeth, perhaps.
Oh, wait a minute, right hand, hold on a second. I'm not quite sure.
I think perhaps a tooth was knocked out, pointing to his bottom tooth.
I believe Mike Beltran he called it off.
Yeah, Shamil was pointing to his bottom teeth, and he was not intelligent in defending himself. He was asking for a break, but unfortunately, you do not get a break if you lose a tooth from getting punched in the face.
And Fedayou followed up with a powerful right hand, and Beltran had no choice but to step in. It did not look like Shamil was going to continue defending himself after that right hand, Corey.
Yeah, he was talking to the referee, asking for a break. Beltran a little confused by his actions also as he talks to the commission over there, but looks to me that Shamil felt his bottom teeth. Does look like they've been knocked back. That does look pretty rough. And that just shows the importance of the mouth guard. You know, his upper teeth are safe, but yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah. Definitely did not want to continue, and here we have a replay of the moment where he lost his teeth.
Let's take a look at it, Corey. Shamil feeling a lot of pain, unfortunately. I believe it may have been a right hand.
Right there, mouth open as he entered. Immediately, he must have felt those teeth shift. It looks like the front four are sunk back and potentially even a cut on the gums.
Yeah.
Looks very uncomfortable. And you see him talking to Mike saying, hey, Beltran saying, hey, my teeth. And that forced Beltran to wave it off.
Credit to Fedayou. His striking was very precise there. Obviously, not the kind of ending I don't think even Fedayou would want. I mean, what a performance by Shamil in that first round.
Yeah, wishing a speedy recovery to Shamil. You know, like you say, he had an absolutely phenomenal round one, and it's unfortunate. Great placement from Fedayou, and testament to his power. It's not often that we see someone lose a row of teeth, but yeah, wishing Shamil a speedy recovery, and hopefully we can see him in here soon, but that definitely looks unpleasant.
Well, Fedayou moving on to 9-2 at this moment. Let's go to the cage with Garrett Furtig for the announcements.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mike Beltran steps in and waves off the contest. 1 minute, 17 seconds of round number 2. Declaring your winner by TKO, Ryan Big Fury Fedayou.
Sacramento, let's hear it for our main event, light heavyweight bout right now. Ryan Fedayou, quite frankly, you withstood an absolute barrage in that first round. How did you recover?
Jesus Christ. How y'all feeling tonight, Sacramento? I can't hear you. There we go. Let's go. Honestly, my coaches, Marcus, Reeves, I've been boxing with him, and he said, when in doubt, just breathe it out. So I was there, taking deep breaths after that first round. I knew he was gonna be a hard puncher. I knew he was gonna be amazing at what he did. So all hats off to him, and I just kept my faith with God, kept my faith in myself, and kept breathing.
Well, before we check out the end of the fight, I want to give you credit because you talk about having faith in yourself. After November, you said, you know what, I'm not where I want to be. You went to Thailand. You had a full camp there. Then you went to Japan. Then you came home to train. You're only 23 years old, and to have that kind of discipline, I think everyone appreciates that because your future is so bright.
Hey, that means a lot to me. If I can be an inspiration to people to show them that they need to dedicate all the way. I was dedicating myself maybe 50% and wondering why I was getting the results I was getting. You got to put it all in. You got to trust the people around you. You got to pray, and you got to stay faithful, and it all pays off.
No doubt. Let's take a look right now at the closing moments of this fight. It was a right hand that found a home. Take us through it. I believe they're going to show us right now. Well, we're just going to check out the highlights of the fight right now. Yeah, take us through the highlights right now. How do you feel?
I feel like I got rocked. Yeah, that happened to me, so I was like, man. But as that happened, I was like, man, stay calm, be up. He's going to gas himself out. I could feel it. And it's exactly.
Did you feel like that was happening a bit in the second round?
Oh, yeah, I felt it in the first round. As soon as he went crazy, because I've been in that spot before. I know as soon as you start like, get crazy for the finish, then you just start throwing lane punches. And, yeah, I cracked them pretty. Oh, yeah, those knees were nasty.
That was a knee towards the end of the first round. Now I believe we're moving to the second. There was the right hand.
Yeah. I don't know what happened, but it looked like all of his bottom teeth were like folded inwards. So it looked like Rob Whitaker when he fought Hamzat. So.
Well, as you know, anything can happen in the cage, and fortunately for you, you're walking away victorious once again, moving to 9-2. Congratulations, Ryan Fedayou. Grazie, brother.
And there you have it, our amateur main event as we close out the prelims. We'll be moving over to UFC Fight Pass at 7 p.m. sharp. If you guys have 30 minutes to get on over there, ready for our pro main card, and we have an absolutely stacked main card for you guys tonight. But yeah, that was us closing out the prelims, our main event, and we saw Ryan Fedayou with the TKO win. Johnny, I was just talking about how that, what a way to close out the prelims, huh?
Yeah, as unpredictable as the entire card was, we had yet another unpredictable finish for the A1 Combat 29 prelims. Truly incredible. Very excited to see where a lot of these fighters go. Corey, we had at least close to a handful of fighters who could be so close to fighting as professionals very soon. That's so fun to see on these prelims.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what I was talking about earlier. You know, it's so nice that A1's able to create these opportunities for grassroots. You know, we've got debut amateurs on here. We've got experienced amateurs like we just saw in Ryan Fedayou. You know, these are the future pros that are going to be on our main card and going to be working their way up to title contention. And so many of our A1 professionals find their way up into the UFC. So it's really great to see that, you know, from absolute beginning all the way through to the big show, and they're able to do that here under these lights with A1 Combat.
No doubt about that. If you enjoyed all the action here on the prelims, sign up for UFC Fight Pass right now and join us tonight, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, A1 Combat 29, 6 fights on the pro card, all headlined by a middleweight title bout. For Corey McKenna, I'm Johnny LaQuasto. Thank you for checking out the A1 Combat 29 prelims. We'll see you on UFC Fight Pass.
Certainly.